Judge, I didn't get to make my argument for the day. I think I would like to add one.
Sure, Mr. Abrams.
If there's nothing that the past 10 years of movie making has taught us or has supposed to have taught us, white man, bad. White man, very bad. White man needs to sit in corner and think about what he's done by virtue of being white man. And, I think we've done that rather nicely here in Star Wars. Luke Skywalker, bad. Han Solo, bad. And now that they're in the corner, there's more space. You see, there's more space. There's more space for the ones that aren't the bad ones.
For the defense, now, I brought up Cobra Kai earlier, and my hypothetical question for the defense would be, let's say hypothetically Disney Star Wars actually did what Cobra Kai did. And what Cobra Kai did is it basically had a 30-year gap of, characters that, we had an attachment to in some way, shape, or form. We open up that story and we basically are introduced to the characters as we expected them to be in the opening. And then we start going on this path, and suddenly they subverted our expectations, which is something Rian Johnson likes to say a lot. But with Cobra Kai, they did it in a way where they established where the old characters were. When the ones that we were emotionally attached to, we're going to reintroduce you to these characters immediately. We're going to show you where they are in life, and they are on opposite ends of the, what life has given them. And it's kind of what we expected. Daniel LaRusso is successful. He's a rock star. He's got a family. Everybody loves him. Johnny is just kind of drinking himself to misery. He's, losing his job. He doesn't have any direction in life. He's miserable. But as the story evolves, all of that changes. All of our expectations are changed. But in the process, we're introduced to new characters along the way. And then by the time the seasons start going into seasons 2 and 3, suddenly we start letting go of those old characters and we start caring about the new characters. If Disney Star Wars would have taken that approach, started us out where we expected to be, and then maybe evolve that story, all while introducing new characters along the way, by the time we get to episode 9, we, the audience, can be ready to let go of the old characters and embrace those new characters because we've been on a journey with them. Do you think we would be on trial today in a hypothetical situation if Disney Star Wars followed the Cobra Kai template?
I'll tackle that unless someone else wants to. Honestly, no, I don't think we would. But the problem with that, because I believe in your hypothetical, I love Cobra Kai. I think it's awesome. I think they did a great job. But I think the difference is we got that 32-year time gap from when episode 6 aired to when episode 7 aired. So that's a huge gap in time. And Disney, and all their grand thought processes, thought that, hey, we could just kind of skip that middle part, skip the middleman. People will love it because it's Star Wars. And so we'll just put them on their character path and kind of in the middle of it, and then we'll catch them up on the back end. So, yeah, I mean, sure, there's plenty of other ways to do it. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. But is it the right way? Is it the wrong way? I don't know. I haven't seen that movie. I couldn't tell you.
Well, but I think specifically to the charges of today, it's the negligence of the legacy characters. And I'll look at Cobra Kai, and that you can never say that. You can argue that Cobra Kai has problems. You can argue that it has teen drama and it has cringy stuff. But what you can't argue is that it took care of the legacy characters, meaning Johnny and Daniel. And if Disney Star Wars have had that same care with the legacy characters, today's count would not be in court today. And we are talking about the mistreatment of the legacy characters. And I think, along with many people in the audience and the wonderful, wonderful ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they all feel the same way, that whatever good you can say of the Disney trilogy, the treatment of the legacy characters is not one of them. There's nothing good that came from that, from a fan standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, or the fact that Disney themselves even tried to give us a new Han Solo and they failed at that too. So I think that across the board, Disney failed from that perspective on today's count. Does the defense have any questions for me? You're kind of losing, and maybe you can throw something at me. Maybe you can get me on something. Maybe, hey, listen, Dr. Gordo, please chill on the Disney Kool-Aid. Slow down a bit, okay? And let's just talk. Let's have a conversation. So I'm here. I'm all by myself. I don't have anybody else here. So fire away.
So you don't see the possibility that you're just projecting your emotions onto the film, onto the argument. The defense here, we're making references to, in fact, things that happen in the movie. We're using some social science, we're using literature, mythology, what have you. And all I'm hearing from you is hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, that's the whole point, is that they have hurt the Star Wars fandom. And you're damn right I'm projecting some of my pain into it, because that was what they were leaning on. They were leaning on my emotions. They were leaning on my emotions to give them money. They were leaning on my emotions. When I stood there in Orlando, Florida at Star Wars Celebration in 2017, before The Last Jedi came out, I stood in a room when they were releasing Battlefront 2 to the world. This was the premiere of Battlefront 2. And they stood in that room and they sit there and said, "Are there any girl gamers in the audience?" And about 3 girls screamed. And I just looked around and I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with Star Wars? What that's not Star Wars. That type of language is not Star Wars. And that was kind of the first kind of moments that I realized they're not trying to do anything to benefit Star Wars. They're trying to push social justice elements into it. And unfortunately for us fans, the interjection of social justice meant the demise of our favorite characters. And
Your Honor, what does this have to do with the argument? I think if you look online, you can read negligence. You know, it's the state or quality of being negligent, a negligent act or a failure to act. I think if there's any conversation you want to make with Disney Star Wars, it's that we acted too much and in all the wrong ways and overthought and chased our tails and did many foolish things, but it wasn't a lack of activity on the part of Disney Star Wars. I honestly believe this count should be thrown out the window completely. Negligent? No. Stupid? Sure. Negligent? No. We were not negligent. We did too much and the wrong things, but we did not do nothing. We were not negligent. We did not neglect the Star Wars franchise.
negligent.
Well, Mr. Abrams, you simply saying that, it really needs to be backed up by the evidence. I just briefly, Mr. Cobra, we're gonna have another
I am
more
the
minutes.
Your
Just a
Honor.
moment.